Thank you, salute. Welcome to another episode of AXIOM TV. I'm your unexpected host, Jason V. Sareev, aka Brave Mind, King of the North, and aka the Antichrist. Those of you who have viewed some of my videos in the past know that I like to talk about aspects of certain topics or some topics in general, that other people seem to be uncomfortable discussing, but irregardless, need to be discussed, or how are we to ever move beyond them? And today's subject is no different, which is abortion. Dun 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 dun. Now, no matter what side of the argument you are entrenched, pro-choice or pro-life, abortion is an emotionally charged subject. So today we're going to remove sentiment as well as the racial component of whites having lower birth rates than minorities, and the civil liberty aspect of a female's right to choose from the equation, and approach this topic from an objective point of view. I'm applying such a handicap to prove a point. We'll do that by examining both perspectives of the issue to see which has merit. We'll review the benefits and detriments, and once we've sorted through all of that, see if we can arrive at a destination that conclusively satisfies this issue. Disturbing optics aside, first let's explore the moral argument against abortion. The pro-life protagonists frame their argument from a vantage of high morals, but clearly the pro-choice proponents have not effectively challenged this, which is why it's still a run-on debate. The pro-life position is that abortion is unequivocally or generally wrong, and that abortion is a form of murder. Some pro-lifers make exceptions for females who've been impregnated via rape, while others view even abortion in those circumstances as immoral. Is abortion a form of murder? Let's hold on to that question. If it is, then every form of contraception, from birth control methods to homosexuality and even fellatio to the point of copulation, are subtle forms of abortion. I'll address that. I'll address what I mean there a little later in this talk. If that's not clear to you, think of it as population control, which essentially is the primary function that abortion serves in society. In terms of practicality, the size of Earth is limited, as well as the resources we are able to extract from it. At any given time, there is also a limit to the amount of quality jobs available. If there was no abortion, overpopulation, which is already stated as a problem presently, would be the result. Within society, runaway population growth decreases quality of life, to put it mildly. Pro-lifers also claim that adoption is the better option. Taking into account the fact that many women have abortions because they can't afford to take care of that child financially, and they figure that no life is better than the life that child would have to endure in a capitalistic world. Assuming abortion was no longer allowed, who is going to take care of all of the now unaborted babies or children? A no abortions policy would overwhelm the adoption system in short order. Are pro-lifers going to adopt all of them as they wait in the foster system, as those children wait in the foster system? Are there enough caring potential parents among the pro-lifers to properly raise all of these unaborted children? Are they going to be effectively nurtured so that the vast majority of these kids become productive citizens. Let's not forget how many people take issue with the welfare system as it is. Would those same people welcome a welfare system with a more expansive scope? Also, keep in mind how many abusive parents there are currently. Some who get arrested for extremes such as starving their children or locking them away in cages and closets for prolonged periods. There are others who Child Protective Services haven't even gotten around to yet for their cruel treatment towards their own children. Many of these children grow up to be adults who are abusive themselves, perpetuating the cycle. Are we to assume that some of these questionable parents are not among the ranks of pro-lifers? Many serial killers and criminals in general are a direct result of horrible upbringings. Remember, each of us is a product, each adult is a product of their childhood. In one aspect or another, our childhood and our upbringing is our foundation. Many children never stood a chance of growing up to reach their potential from early on. They lack coping and proper decision-making skills and are mentally unstable when they grow to be adults. Yes, the prison industry will have a viable pipeline to grow their inmate population. Funeral homes will also benefit from more deaths, and churches will have more depressed parishioners to fill their pews, and alcohol companies will have more alcoholics to consume their products, and the news media will have more tragic stories to target with their coverage, and government will be viewed more and more as a necessary omnipotent presence. But I fail to see how any of that translates to high morality. If anything, it is hypocrisy. Let's fail the millions of children simply for the sake of doing it. Promoting adoption as some be-all, end-all is maliciously disingenuous. What of the millions of children that die worldwide on average before the age of 9 years old through no fault of their own? With our nearly 1,000 military bases around the world and our practice of predatory capitalism and the wealth that we in the West boast, do pro-lifers possess such naivete to believe that our society has no culpability in those outcomes, if not primary fault? Is that not murder of scale? It seems pro-lifers are suffering from a disease which I have deemed as the luxury of exclusivity of convenience. Now, biologically, reproduction is to ensure the survival of a species. Yes, even human beings, this is the case. Even with human beings, this is the case. Some of us feel that some of us believe that sex, for the sake of pleasure, is the primary driver of arousal. Since nature and the instincts that it has endowed us with compels us to reproduce, which is why I say that any form of contraception, homosexuality, and fellatio to the point of copulation is on some level abortion, being that it ultimately prevents reproduction. And we already acknowledge that the aggregate of human population is stricken by overpopulation. We are all confronted by an unavoidable quandary, which renders abortion as ultimately a net good. Thank you.